In 1970, Woody Allen plays a cello in his school's marching band and goes on a crime spree in New York, robbing a bank with his trusty Gub and take the money and run.
That's G-U-N. I'm pointing. Yes, I'm pointing a gun at you.
Gun? That's G-U-N.
Oh, that's a B. That's Gub.
No, excuse me. That's an N.
1970 also saw the last performance of the Beatles, the release of MASH, and the release of the infamous Ford Pinto. In 1971, 3,000 people from Belfast and Derry flee to Ireland because of violence. A Clockwork Orange and Harold and Maude are released. Walt Disney World opens in Florida, and the Kennedy Center is inaugurated in Washington, D.C. Also in 1971, Peter Bogdanovich releases The Last Picture Show. In 1972, the Watergate scandal became public, the last ground troops are withdrawn from Vietnam, the production of a recombinant DNA draws controversy by making cloning possible, and the Uruguayan Air Force flight transporting a rugby team creates a media sensation after passengers resorted to cannibalism for survival in the Andes. In cinema, Badlands and Everything You Wanted to Know About Sex But Were Afraid to Ask hit theaters. 1973 sees Roe v. Wade overturn bans on abortion, the release of Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon. The Yom Kippur War begins when Syria and Egypt attack Israel. ABBA wins the annual Eurovision contest. Soylent Green and Chinatown are released. Skylab is launched into orbit, and homosexuality is no longer classified as a psychiatric disorder by the American Psychiatric Association. In 1974, the saga of Patty Hearst's kidnapping by, then subsequent initiation into the Symbionese Liberation Army takes over the front pages of many major magazines of her father's media empire. Charles de Gaulle Airport opens in Paris, France. The Milgram experiment is first described by Stanley Milgram in his book Obedience to Authority, An Experimental View. Also in 1974 was the fall of Saigon. Christine Schubuck, a U.S. television presenter, shoots herself in a live broadcast, perhaps the inspiration for the movie Network, released in 1976. In 1975, Shampoo and Monty Python's Holy Grail were released. In 1976, All the President's Men, starring the dishy Dustin Hoffman, hits theaters. Woody Allen releases Annie Hall, and David Bowie stars in sci-fi film The Man Who Fell to Earth. America also celebrated its bicentennial, and the Eagles released the song Hotel California. In 1977, Star Wars hits theaters and becomes the most attended film in history. France performs its last guillotine execution. Saturday Night Live and the Bee Gees become an international phenomenon. The U.S. agrees to transfer the control of the Panama Canal to Panamanians. The Atari 2600 game system is released, and people play Pong for the first time in their homes. The first 3 nodes of ARPANET are connected, and my favorite disco group, Boney M, hits Europe. Woody Allen's Annie Hall receives Best Picture at the 50th Academy Awards, and he also releases Interiors in 1978. The One Love Peace concert is held in Kingston, Jamaica, and Bob Marley unites 2 political leaders ending civil war in the city. After releasing a series of short films, the comedy duo Cheech and Chong released their first feature-length film, Up in Smoke. Dalida releases Parole d'ailleurs. In 1979, Anita Ward releases Ring My Bell. The Iranian hostage crisis took place at the American Embassy in Tehran, Iran. After Operation Eagle Claw failed to rescue the American hostages, the crisis ended with the signing of the Algiers Accord in Algeria in 1981. President Jimmy Carter is attacked by a swamp rabbit while fishing. Perhaps it was emulating the wee rabbit from Monty Python's Holy Grail. Alien is also released in theaters.